the recording. All right, and it is Thursday, the 16th of October, 2018. Always try to be as careful as you can at the start. Make sure you don't jump right in, and we're off and running. What happens if you get there too quickly, you'll get yourself caught in the whipsaw at the beginning of the day. Almost like the oil inventory report or an economic report that comes out. See how we got the Mexican jumping beans going on with this S&P. We'll get a little reaction here in the NASDAQ. We do have a buy signal in the Russell, and it does look okay, and it's probably going to go up to 82.5, but you can't really tell. It's awfully early. So NASDAQ's pulling back. S&P is kind of bouncing around. Looks like it wants to resolve to the upside, though. And that Russell pulled right on back. We're at, another thing that happens is right here. You see the cross? That usually gives me a pause. I'm not in an uptrend yet. Now, the R squeeze and the momentum oscillator are both conducive to a high. Looks like the Dow and the S&P are going. Maybe the others will follow. Wow, we're getting a nice move in the S&P. I had to figure out which way it was going to resolve itself. Okay. Yep. Thanks, David. Appreciate it. See if it could actually follow through, though. One little spurt does not an up day make. I kind of like the NASDAQ over 22 quarter to move up. Yep, and the
order pending.
All right, we're after 2 minutes. If we go there, I would be looking for a move up to the next swing level here. Now, if we go back down to 16, I'm going to cancel that buy. And we're heading back towards 16. Now, my stop's going to have to be right down here where the swing is, and I probably ought to cancel this puppy here. It has not taken out the stop yet, but as soon as it does. See, now the counterpunch
order canceled.
Counterpunch trader has got them short now, and they have a gray follow on for me. A little bit late, so I'm not going to follow that. Russell got a short as well, and the Dow and the S&P are going higher. So we've got the opposites on the markets. This usually means to me that you're not. One of them is going to be wrong. Maybe both of them are wrong. Maybe we'll just flip-flop around and go back and forth. I don't really know. So when in doubt, sit it out. Yep. When in doubt, don't. You'd like to have them all in sync. I don't necessarily need them all in sync because I'm only trading one. Looks like the S&P is resolving to the upside. The Dow trying to do the same. NASDAQ is in, Russell's in chop, so's the NASDAQ really. I still like above 74.23 basically on the NASDAQ, but
order pending.
The stop is the only problem that's going to get me with the NASDAQ. We got our squeeze. If we get up there, the momentum might be okay. It would really be nice if I waited for this to go through and then break back down, but I don't know. That'd be the ideal situation. We're going to just do a breakout. We get above that level, we could just pop, especially with the S&P going higher. The Dow's going higher. Russell's trying to slop around backwards, and we just don't have a whole lot of mojo with the. I guess the multinationals are emboldened by what they hear out of China. That would mean that the Dow would be a decent trade there. We failed on the break below. The counterpunch trader, if we get up here to 23 or so, it's going to give a buy signal because we failed. We did a failure on the way down. Right. Momentum oscillator on the ES is still pointing up. So is the R squeeze. I don't like what I see here in the NASDAQ. Okay, so I'm going to cancel that puppy.
Order canceled.
Potentially we could be getting another entry to the downside, but we're only in chop in NASDAQ, so I'm going to sit it out. Russell's in chop. The multinationals, the Dow and S&P, I think that Walmart's having a big impact on that one. And David Arcosco basically gapping up to the swing high area, and it's going to need follow through. Right. Okay. Pretty much in chop. The Dow and S&P are still doing their thing, and the Russell and the NASDAQ are still doing their thing, just chopping. So maybe the Russell below the primary pivot here. It got down there a couple of times. Let me kind of zoom out a little bit. This level down in here, around the 1676 would be an area, but we were only talking about 2 points. That's 20 ticks. Got another iteration of a sell signal in the NASDAQ. I think it actually may resolve to the downside, but we've got all that. I'm gonna make the zigzag happen on that one before I go there. All right, I got an add-on to that one. That's where the gray cross is, and looks like the S&P is pulling back. That's going to give the NASDAQ some juice to the downside. Let's see if we can get a bounce here back up towards 7408. Yep. It did hit its target one. Or is it just going to be one of these intra-candle type of things, and it's so weak? Yeah, it's so weak that we're not getting a bounce. At least not yet. Indecisive high wave doji at the moment. Now, the S&P pulled back to 2836. If it holds right here, that would be a retest of the breakout. Not sure whether it's going to hold there or not. We'll see. Now the NASDAQ is in a confirmed downtrend now, based upon the trend line. Russell's still in chop. Dow still kind of hanging in there again, dominated by just 30 stocks to be dominated today by Walmart. And it does look like the buyers are trying to step up on the S&P. And that bounces as the maximum it needs to be on the NASDAQ. Nope, it's too much. So that breakdown was not really enough. Okay. Russell is still in chop. Dow and S&P doing their thing separate from the rest. Let's see if I got anything over on oil. No, crude oil's going nowhere. Yeah, I've got a 5-minute chart over there, and the crude oil is doing nothing. Stop hunting? Stop hunting. When I first read it there, David, I thought you were telling me to stop looking type of thing. Well, don't know. If people are, trading along in there, it's their own fault. I was reading something last night about the black boxes. It's kind of a follow-on to our presentation yesterday afternoon. By the way, there are 2 new videos posted up there, actually 3. So on the YouTube page, you should, if you haven't already done so, I strongly suggest that you subscribe so you get notifications when the new videos come out. Okay. Yeah, it probably is. But where's the stop? Unless we can get some sort of intermediate shelf right here, which it's trying to do, the stop's got to be down at the prior swing or some sort of mini swing, maybe 74.08, but that's a heck of a long ways down. They were talking 23. That's 15 points times 4 at best. I'm not going to take a 50-tick stop. All right. Got another buy signal here in the S&P on the 3-minute chart. I guess that's our first one of the day. Dow is kind of grinding higher. Russell, forget about it. We are doing a consolidation here in the NASDAQ. Whoops, wrong one. Right there. Something got quick. I wish I could find a way to and we dropped out of the box there. Wish I could find a way to set the colors at default colors. Looks like the NASDAQ is resolving to the downside. Here comes the second time through of 07. I don't know about this, so I'm not going to go short. Russell is going through the primary pivot. If we can get a little bit of a bounce or a pause right here, that might work for a short in the Russell. The S&P is coming back down. There comes the bounce in the Russell. And I That's a bit of room to the downside. The only problem is where's the stop? It's way up at 81. That's 30 ticks up. I guess one could go 80.1 or so, but no, this is the second time down through this level, or down to this level, the primary pivot. Maybe the third, if you look at it, all three of these. Okay, so we moved down here 3 times. NASDAQ is kind of chopping along, grinding higher in the Dow. That's Walmart for you, and the S&P is kind of tagging along for the ride. If we break through the primary pivot here, I'm probably going to go ahead and go short the Russell. We do have the Russell's got that level over here around 77.7.
Order pending.
If we can get down that far, and see what the problem is that we're just kind of bouncing along and grinding. We're gonna, maybe if it gets down here, it'll drop fast. Just a matter of how far on the other side you wanna drop it. Put the sell stop. S&P, the Dow's grinding. NASDAQ is grinding lower. Russell just doesn't seem to want to give it up. I don't like where the momentum oscillator is on the NASDAQ. And if we get a little bit higher here on the Russell, I am going to cancel that short. No? Okay. So my stop's going to be around 80. As it is, that's about a 25-point stop. That's probably a little much. Here comes the NASDAQ with another sell signal. And the S&P is getting a little weak here. Can we get this lower? There's no way I can get that one closer. What happens if we get below? Yeah, the NASDAQ would probably only go a few points lower, not much. So it's the Russell or nothing at the moment. And I'm probably leaning towards nothing, even though I have that sell stop out there.
Order canceled.
I'm going to cancel that one. I don't like what it's setting up. It's taking way too long. Way too long. And the stop's going to be too much for what I'm going to see. So be patient, Steve. Be patient. Well, thank everybody for being here. And if you guys have any questions, post them out there. I'll get to them as soon as I can. And Gigi, did you have a chance to? You didn't get to a chance to attend yesterday afternoon, so go to the website and look at the presentation on an introduction to futures, and hopefully that'll clear up a number of the questions you had. If it doesn't, come on back and ask the questions again. We endeavor to answer all the questions you guys have. Okay. Maybe you got to see it last night. I don't know. S&P just kind of stuck in no man's land at the moment. All right. And the Dow's still grinding higher. Yes, and S&P is probably being held up by Walmart, but man, I know that's probably where the Dow is coming from. All right. I got my Clorox breaking out. Kellogg's, United Health, UPS. Okay. All right, here we go in the Russell. A little bit of a rally. A little bit of a rally here in the Nasdaq, but nothing. And nice S&P move here. Okay, can we break out here to a new high, please? Please, please, please. I'd love that. The momentum oscillator is pointing upwards. The R squeeze is okay, not too far extended. And this NASDAQ, the momentum is coming up. I guess it'll CBT will probably give us a long somewhere around 14. But we got maybe two points at best, 8 ticks, so not worth it. That Russell short obviously didn't work. It has a new long, but it's got some healthy resistance right in here, about 81. Okay, remember what I said pre-market, that most of the move might have happened overnight, and we might be in for a go nowhere, gap up, kind of chop around most of the day. And if I don't take a trade, I don't take a trade. I don't feel compelled that I have to. I don't want to. If I force a trade, more than likely I'm going to give money to the market. All right, the S&P is having trouble with that 2839 level. Let's see if it can resolve itself upwards or not. Russell's still deeply in chop, so is the NASDAQ. And still Mr. Grindy for the Dow. And we try to do an e-learning about once every 2 weeks. So I'm probably going to poll the members to determine whether they want to see it during normal trading hours, so we can talk about things maybe in the afternoon someday or something like that, or if they want to try to do it maybe on a Saturday. So we'll have to see what you guys want and what fits your schedule. Okay, looks like the Russell's trying to attack that level that we thought it would. Let's see if it breaks through it. NASDAQ is in chop. S&Ps are right there near the highs. Are they going to break out or not? With us being at the 16th, we're probably not going to have another e-learning before the end of the open house, but maybe. We'll see if there's something out there. If you guys have any topics that you would like to have me research so we can go over if we have any dead times or anything between. Take care, Lloyd. Have a safe flight. All right, there goes the Russell. It is getting through that level that we spoke about earlier. And will it get follow through? The next level is up here at around 82.5. It got to money management. Has not gotten to. It hasn't gotten to any of its targets yet, and I see it pulling back, and that's a significant target up there. 7 o'clock. Yep. Pull back in the S&P, grinding higher in the Dow. Your mama ain't following, John? Yeah, gold is one of those that you got to have, you need an iron stomach for that. Gotta have an iron stomach. Some of the Chinese internet stocks didn't do very well the last few days as well, like Baba and what's it? HUYA. How do you call it? High whatever. Nasdaq. Looks like that Russell did pull back. Did test the breakout area, but it's right under the highs of the day. So, I mean, the pre-market. It's at a new day high for the regular trading hours. Or was. Pricing. Are you talking about, well, the time we're up from 9:15 to about 11:15. Just, okay, we're up to the highs of the day for the S&P. Watch for a possible breakout there. And Dow's higher. The other two are not. Well, I could understand that, Mr. Al, because it was kind of being wishy-washy, wasn't it? Now, the momentum oscillator is on the side of a breakout. The R squeeze says that we may have run out of juice here, and it may only just be a pop. And I wouldn't be surprised for a move to a new high and then a pullback. But I don't know. There's my biases coming through. As far as the trading room, let me go here. Go here. So that pretty much covers the times that we're going to cover, but obviously on FOMC days and any other afternoon events. But right there you can see, yeah, I do actually cover the prices in the videos. We have a launch special going on right now. Normal annual membership fee is going to be $747. $747 airplane. But we're going to knock off. I arm wrestled with Rick and said I want to be able to give people a really nice break to get us all kick-started here. $273 for a whole year, only an annual, so no monthly or anything like that. But that's, $273. We're going to make that up in one, maybe two trades. It's less than $23 a month if you do it on a monthly basis type of thing. If you want to amortize that type of thing. But hey, it's I think it's an excellent deal. But then I'm a bit prejudiced. Looks like the Nasdaq's coming back down here towards the lows of the day. The S&P is pulling off the Dow, showing a little bit of weakness. The Russell's pulling back a little bit. As far as, boy, I sure don't see where I would, even if the Nasdaq goes down to that 93.50, where's the stop? See, the stop has to be 74.13. The reward to risk ratio is just not there. And here it is, right back in your face. I mean, what this is doing is it's dipping its toe on the other side, putting its nose on the other side of the fence, getting people short, and I think it's going to come right back up here to 74.04 at a bounce. You're welcome, Trendy. Hey, and want to show a little bit later, show you guys the overnight trade in the Nasdaq. If you guys do not trade during the day, I can help you set up your systems and you could trade on your own at night when the Asian market's open. So for those that work and can't be in here full time, that might be a time where you can trade. There's some pretty decent moves there. Now remember what I said yesterday. If you actually attended the session, that the spreads are a little bit wider and it takes a little bit longer, but that's not a bad thing necessarily. So you get some good moves. There's 74.04. It came back to what we thought it would. S&P just kind of meandering around. Al, you did the right thing. Take the money and run. Okay, Russell looks like it's going to attack the high of the day again. Sorry if I'm shouting. And this looks kind of like a breakout, but the problem is I don't have a good stop. Where did that black candle come from? I've got some black dots over here. Man, I don't even see where the maybe that's a volatility stop. No, it's not. It's there must be a candle hidden in there somewhere that I can't see. Anyway, we're not getting a lot of follow through either way. The Dow is grinding. The Dow would have been a decent open here. It just hit target 2. That was 67 ticks. Now the problem was at that entry it was very early on in the day and the stop was 52 ticks. Maybe if you took one contract, maybe $250, 260. Yeah, we could do that as a special, not on an ongoing basis. The one I would love to do, but I physically can't do it. I've tried it before. Is your European Open starts at about 2 a.m. Eastern, and they're usually done between 4 and 4:30 Eastern. They get some really good moves there. However, I would have to take a nap, try to go back to sleep, or try to take a nap in the afternoon. That's my ideal situation would trade Asia, trade Europe, and trade the morning of the United States. That would be perfect. I live in Florida, just in the Orlando metro area. Looks like the Russell is trying to resolve to the upside, but it's fighting it. See that big doji? Yeah, it sure is, but it's only going to be a grinder there. S&P really, really wide candles, really, in my mind, impossible to trade. Al must have had gigantic sized cojones to to be trading that with his wild swings that are there. Russell looking okay. That NASDAQ just whipped right back in. All those shorts that went short, they're definitely gone now. Either that or they're way underwater. Russell has the trend line up here. You mean the rest of the day? After, what time are you talking about? 24/7? Right. The only problem I've got is it's summertime and thunderstorms. But yes, I'll do it when I possibly can. Absolutely. I've been doing that and I will continue to do that. It's no skin off my nose. I mean, that's fantastic. I'll be happy to do that, Frank. Um, I can help you up, JT. That most of the stuff. JT, you're a neighbor of mine, kind of just up the road, a couple of hours. Um, you would probably have to. I mean, Ninja is free, kind of, to trade it the quote right way. Yeah, we're up to the highs again. Let me come back to your question there, JT. Grant says no, they don't have to spend a whole lot. Yep. Beautiful area you live in. All right, here we go. We're trying to break out here on the S&P. And there goes the Russell, still going. I didn't have the guts to go long on that one. NASDAQ is still lagging severely. There goes the S&P hitting a swing level. That's where the little blue lines come into play. Somewhere over here to the left. This morning I drew a line. What number are we at? We're at 2840. Wow, I must have drawn it from a couple of days ago. I leave the lines on there. Thank you very much, David. I leave the lines on there because at some point they may come back to them. Now, the momentum oscillator is getting still up there. What's really getting extended, look at this R squeeze. Now, the R squeeze is free. If anybody has NinjaTrader 8, I can definitely give you everything except the counterpunch trader, and I can't give you this momentum oscillator. I'm not. It's a proprietary thing, but I can help you otherwise. To be honest with you, at the time frames that we're changing, we could change the parameters of this R squeeze and probably come up with the exact same look-alike. And of course, then I can get the swing levels for you. I can get you the color code. I found last night a way to color code these things for free, so I can get it to you. It's still a breakout in the S&P. Nasdaq's trying to come higher. And if you want to trade Thinkorswim, which I would strongly discourage, I can give you that system as well. You love NinjaTrader 8. Okay. Oh, so what do you say? You have more than just summer. Well, AM, first of all, what setup are you looking for? Are you looking for NinjaTrader? I'm going to ask you the question, and I'm not trying to be a turkey or anything. Have you signed up? Are you a member yet? I'll help members. Okay, that'd be fantastic. Let's set ourselves up at the time when we're in the afternoon. Maybe even this afternoon if you're available or something like that, we can set ourselves up. Give me a private message and we'll set up a date and time that works for you, and I'll help you do that. That's nice there. And if people are members, well, you can use an email if you want, but the private message is you go up to my name and you left click on it and you'll get a pop-up, and then you should be able to select private message and it'll give me the info right here in the room. Anybody who ever wants to reach me, I'm at Top Gun Futures gmail.com. And make sure you in that you have something that refers to Top Gun Futures, because I'll do a search in that. You wouldn't believe, I've only had this email for a few months now, and I'm getting hundreds of emails a day. Hundreds. All right. Looks like the NASDAQ is trying to attack that 714 level, 7414. I don't know. Looks like we're attacking the highs of the day in the S&P, grinding in the Dow, grinding in the Russell again. That is a continuation move there. The problem with that is that the momentum indicators are a little bit overbought. Okay. I can't believe we've been here for 45 minutes and I haven't pulled the trigger on anything. Can you... We're looking a little long in the tooth in the Dow. That NASDAQ doesn't look like it wants to break out, although it's done a 1, 2, 3. The momentum oscillator looks fine. The squeeze is okay. The problem I've got with the NASDAQ is that you've got all kinds of... It hasn't been showing any strength today, and it's got lots of overhead resistance. So I want to pass on that one. It might work. I'm kicking myself for not getting in the Russell back there. Well, David, you're right. But the problem is that's what moves the markets, and volatility is what we want. And that does mean that it probably doesn't have a whole lot of legs. And when the markets are nervous, every little rumor that goes out there really twitchy. So even though I agree, I'll look at what happens on the individual stocks when you get an analyst upgrade. And when you talk about analyst upgrade, the only things that really matter are earnings. Things that flow to the bottom line. Did you have a new drug approved by the FDA? Do you get new contracts for defense contractors? Did you have some sort of breakthrough new toy or something like that you're selling like hotcakes? Do you have a new movie that's just killing it at the box office? Those are kind of things that flow to the bottom line. Potentially. Now, when you're talking futures, it's the conglomeration of 30 stocks and up. So, yep, I totally agree. but we're not going to be in there for swinging it, really. Well, you and I also swing on the side, but all right. And I didn't mean it that way, David. Come on. Aretha Franklin has passed away. We're losing more and more of our be careful. That's interesting, Bob. In that case, the Russell's still going. In that case, was he talking about waiting for the opportunity, or was he talking about being patient in the trade? Probably talking about the opportunity more than not. But let's see, too. Okay, AM, yeah, thanks. There goes the Russell still. We still have, even though we're pulling back, we still have decent momentum indicators here. But, man, look at this. Look at this S&P. This right here is telling me we've got lots and lots and lots of movement and going nowhere. It's bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. Let's see, what are the Dow? Each one of these candles is what? These average true range 48. Each one of these candles is 13 to 15 ticks, or maybe even more. On the S&P, there's a lot of money, more than I could stand on that. SP's pulling back pretty hard, guys. Well, I say pretty hard relative to what we've been. The grind is going through another down phase. Momentum is topping out a little bit. The R squeeze, noticed it stopped going up quite a bit ago. Okay, NASDAQ looks like it wants to attack that level again. 74.16.5. I like the momentums, but we just haven't gotten through follow through. So, is it gonna happen this time? It hasn't before, and the trend continues until it doesn't. Russell still the contrarian out there, David. The good news for news that breaks overnight is that we usually get a big pop open in the morning, but many, many, many times we don't get follow through, and that's what I was saying in the pre-market, that I was thinking we may have kind of a range-bound nothing day. That's really where we're at. Look at this. Look at this S&P. This 2834.75. Let's call it 2835. And the highs roughly 40. You're talking 5 points. 5 points. That's nothing. This This is insanity. Way to go, Mr. Bob L. We're just going to call you Mr. Crude. Bob Crude L. Mr. Crude. You've been killing it. You'll have to come on and tell us how you do it. Oh, I've got some.
Hey, good job.
Ah, man. I'm getting so impatient right now. I'm gonna have to find a way to not trade. Not be too anxious to trade. Don't chase anything. I mean, I sit here watching the NASDAQ and normally goes jump along like a Mexican jumping bean. And there for a second I looked at it and it didn't move. It did not move at all. That just doesn't happen. So I wonder if the volume is, the volatility's not there, and I just wonder if the volume's not there either. We'll have to see. Well, I will say one thing. If people are, I have my mother in the SPLV. No, GG, I don't trade the pre-markets per se. They're a little bit flaky. A lot of news related type stuff or whatever. I mean, I guess we could trade the 8:30 reports that happen out there, but you got to pick and choose. I really like to have the high liquidity and more predictability of the 9:30 to 11:30 time frame, that kind of stuff. Now, when you talk about pre-market, if you're talking overnight or if you're talking about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, I would do that, but I've got 3 dogs here who won't let me sleep. I tried that for a month and it just about killed me. Try to trade all 3 of those. Love the dogs, but sometimes I just hate what they do. All right, that NASDAQ is trying to attack that 74.16.5. I haven't tried, GG. I have not tried trading the 8:30 reports. Would it be possible? I don't know. I'd have to look at it. I don't know that I have the bandwidth to do that. Maybe I do. Well, let me go back and look at now for NASDAQ. Let's go look at 8:30 and see what happened. There's 8 o'clock. There's 8:42. And we had a number of reports that came out around 8:30. And this one closed at 8:42, 8:46, 7:50. So we moved a few points and we had some news here. And it didn't really move this time. Maybe the ES did. Maybe the Dow did. Yeah, there you could call that consolidation, I suspect. Let's see if I've got a 12. 12 doesn't show up anything there. Let's go down to a 6. And you see how it just kind of bounced along there? And we go down to a 4. You get a little bit of motion, but we're talking about 70 to 95. You're talking about 25 ticks max, and that's when you're zooming way in. So these are pretty tight when you look at it. It's 74 to 94. It's 20 ticks. So each one of these candles is 20 ticks long. Not enough to trade. All right, what I'm going to think here on the Dow is if it can't go higher, they're going to take it down. It's fairly well extended, but you're going to have to break through. Oh, we did dip down to 67 at one point. S&P still kind of grinding. Russell looking a little long in the tooth here. And NASDAQ just kind of punching up towards that 16. Not making it though. Anybody know how we got the expression that something's good looking long in the tooth? I'm not sure if that's an English expression or American. It came about when people were trying to trade horses, and one of the ways to judge the age of a horse was to pull back the lips and look at their teeth, and the gums as they got older would start to recede. You're getting long in the tooth. And now Russell's coming back up to the high of the day. It's relentless. We did have a big dip down here in the prior candle. It did not take out the long. Oh, I'm full of lots of useless information, John. Lots of useless information. I like to know where sayings come from. Have you ever heard of pig in a poke? I know that's British. I'm married to a Brit, too. Oh, okay. There are others. Looks like the S&P's attacking the high of the day. Are we going to get our 10:30 to 11 o'clock surge? Don't know. Russell can't be part of it and me, not based upon where we're at. So it'd probably have to be the Dow or the NASDAQ, and the Dow is extended.
Order filled.
Couldn't take it any longer. I'm going to have a really tight stop here, but I'm probably going to regret getting long. Yeah, already regretting it. See if we can get anything green. We're starting to get a little bit of motion there. Keep going. Come on. I shouldn't be at 20.
Target filled.
All right. Now we could see if we can trail it. Let's go to a free trade, guys. 17 quarter. We're right up where we're going to have resistance issues right here. Go away. Maybe it's going to wobble. I got to give it a chance. And if we could get over that, I think we can get our target up there. Yeah, I mean, I can't see anything in the near term. Oh, I need to expand that for you. Sorry. Okay, need to try to give it some room here, but it's going to probably pull back on me. At least that's what I'm expecting. And I'll be pleased if it actually goes the other way. Okay, Russell's pulling back as well.
Order filled.
All right, it's going to pull back, so I'm just going to take the money and run. We got, gosh, I want to say 23 ticks on that one. Not great, but considering that I didn't expect it to break out, it went exactly to where I expected it to go. Right up here to this level. I thought initially I took my first targets right about in there, but I didn't really expect to get much higher than that swing level. Right, 500, okay. Now, this is going to fall back. Man, I'm glad I took the money. Glad I took the money. And the R squeeze is back. That was the only, I say the only setup. The only other setup we had was in the Russell when it broke over 1683 level. Those are the only two trades that I've seen us be able to take. Guess you could have taken the Dow on this thing. That was within 1 minute of the open. You could have potentially this continuation move right here. Let me change that color. That continuation move could have been one you got in. You could have been long over, say, 56 or so. Your stop would probably have to have been somewhere around 20, so you would have probably a 30-tick stop. And you're always in. Let's zoom on it. You're probably a little bit extended there, but it kept going. You can stay, markets and stocks can stay overbought or oversold far longer than we can stay solvent. Absolutely. All right. I'd sure hate to try to quit on this. Oh, it's 10:35. I need to take a 2-minute break, and I'll be right back. Come on in. Stop. Want to sit down? Come on. You gotta sit down and be quiet, though. All right, you gotta be quiet. Stay there. Okay. Did it break out while I was gone? The Dow did. There goes the S&P. I got my trading buddies here. We have 3 boxers. My daughter and wife said, "Oh yeah, we'll take care of them, whatever." Well, within a year, my daughter moved to London. Didn't take the dogs with her, and my wife works ridiculous hours, so they're mine. They're boxers. I'll post a photo or 3 up there in a minute. Love them to death, but one of them's a barkaholic. London, UK. Yeah, that's right. I'm the only member of my family's not a dual national. They're both American and British. But I am bilingual. I speak both American and English. My wife was in Carshalton, Surrey, southwest London. She was in the Royal Air Force when we met. It was lust at first sight. She married me for my money. I married her for her beauty, and we were both disappointed, right? What part of the UK? Oh, come on, I'm just teasing. You know that. Love her to death. Heck, who in the world could I find? There goes the Dow. Who in the world could I find that would put up with me, right? There goes the S&P. There goes the Russell. And that NASDAQ is just, bleh. What in the world? Oh, yeah, I know Hounslow. And St. Albans. Yeah. I was at RAF Falconberry in up near Cambridge. That's where my wife and I met. Up along the A1. Loved it. Oh, yeah. Love to go to air shows. Oh, love Farnborough. I got paid to go to Farnborough. That's the life, huh? I have been so lucky throughout my life. I have been so lucky and blessed. The Brits know how to put on air shows, that's for sure. Well, can we find any entries here, guys? Well, I said in the Air Force I got paid. I flew for free and I got paid to put up with the bullshit. Little bit of motion in the in that crude oil out there today, Bob L. Mr. Crude. Sorry, I got to respond to somebody here. All right, the Nasdaq's pulling back, Russell's pulling back, S&P pulling back. Well, Mr. Bob L., I'm going to count on you letting us know when crude's setting up to trade. And I do appreciate your posting your trades. If anybody out there is doing a trade, please post it at least after the fact. Let me get... All right, there's a free program by TechSmith who they create Snagit and Camtasia and do some screencasts and stuff like that. But they have a free tool that is absolutely fantastic out there called Jing, Jing. It installs a little... Yeah, we got up close to that R2, and I bet you it's going to run into a little resistance, huh? That program, I use it all the time. You can capture your screens, capture your charts, you can then annotate them, and then the best part of it is that you can post the link to that chart here for everyone, either in a room or let's see. Here. Okay, and I'm just going to use Jing here real quick on a stock that I'm long, and basically I can annotate it by pointing up. Let's get a different color, and down here, and then I'll just post it up, and I'd use a little icon that says post it out to screencast, and they put it on their server, and now I can share it with the world. I can copy it to my hard drive. I can save it to my hard drive. I can copy it and use it in a document, or I can put it out on screencast, and I can annotate everything out there to include things like where I got in and where I got out. A lot of the stuff that you're seeing, gold for a failure, that makes a lot of sense. You could go out there and where was I going with that? Oh yeah, a lot of the shots that you've seen from my PowerPoint presentation are screen captures from Jing. Even though I have other products out there, let me launch the PowerPoint. Right. All these are captured via Jing. Now, obviously, this was actually copied by Jing off the website of the internet. All these things I could show you where I was going short and where I covered, and you can show where you went long and where you exited. You can basically annotate your chart in any way, shape that you want. So it's a really fantastic. Thanks there, G. What time frame, GG? Oh, okay. Thanks, Pablo. I love it. Oh, okay. Super. Now, another thing you can do is annotate your trades in your kind of your journal as you're going along, and you can capture them and basically make notes, and you can show where you should have been in, where you were in. Looks like your Pablo, your call of tagging R2 is coming to fruition. The S&P is coming right there and tagged R1, it looks like, to the penny. NASDAQ's pulling back. I'm sure thinking that the trade in the NASDAQ is probably going to be to the downside. We're due for a move between 10:30 and 11. It's already 10:45. The Russell's pulling back, but you've got this level down here that could be a target. There's way too much support. As far as the NASDAQ for Debbie Downer, if it comes down and tags or breaks through this 08 level and then bounces back up a little bit and then goes lower, I'm probably going to go short. If you hear any barking in the background, it's my dogs trying to bark at the long guys next door across the street. The momentum oscillators and the R squeeze are pointing lower. An aggressive trader could go short somewhere around it here, hoping to get down to 74.08 before a bounce. I'm not so inclined, really, but it'll possibly work. We're getting lots of intra-candle movements, but no overall follow through in any direction. And those ones are the most dangerous, really. Well, as the Russell's kind of pulling back to support level, the Dow and S&P are still hanging around the highs. The weak sister looks like the NASDAQ today. I was thinking there for a while I'd get through the day without any trades at all, but I've only seen that one Russell trade that would have been set up. I don't like the continuation move on that. Was not set up for us. I didn't see anything other than the one trade we took so far. So we had one we took and one we could have. I guess we could potentially have taken this one in the Dow, but my goodness. The momentums oscillators were both showing quite a bit of overbought conditions. So, as I keep saying, better to be on the sideline wishing you were in than the other way around. Wow, look at that NASDAQ drop. Russell's dropping too. Now we're getting to a level in the Russell. I'd like to see it penetrate that 83 level. Just like it's bouncing before that, though. Now, NASDAQ went a little bit too far below the 08 level. That it did go down to 03, which is one of our pre-marked conditions here. Pre-market. See what I would love to have had. What you want to do is to get through the level, bounce back up, and then go lower. What it did is it went way too much below it. It was just that, it was that weak. Now, somewhere right in here, this 7410 level, the minimum oscillators or whatever, even though the counterpunch trader didn't show it, it wasn't through the that swing level yet. It turns out in 2020 hindsight that wasn't a bad place to go short. You would have hit a target one, but now you're going to have to take the heat against you. Now, let me look at the indicator here. Anywhere you go in stop here, the chandelier, or sorry, the volatility stop is right here at 09 7.75, called 74.10. So I just can't believe it. That we've had this limited number of opportunities to be long or short. Looking at it 2020 hindsight of the NASDAQ, even though that this drop worked, it wasn't any of my pattern setups. There's just no way I could have done that. It went through one level, it went to another level, went down to a third level. I mean, that would just be like, I don't know, rolling the dice, gambling, not playing the odds necessarily. All right. Let me move this out of the way. Well, I do apologize about this, but there's nothing I can do about it. I did say that the markets were going to be maybe range bound, and they are. Well, while we're waiting here, I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to take you back in time. Okay, I'm going to take you back in time to last night. Remember I said that you guys could trade overnight. Sometimes it's as early as 7 or 8 o'clock at night. Sometimes, let me do one thing for the indicators so I can make sure I get. All right, we're looking at ourselves at around 6 or 7 o'clock at night. And we're bouncing along. You can use the swing levels. I do have CPT in here, but it doesn't necessarily work as well. But guess what happened at 9:30 when Japan opened? Hong Kong, sorry. I think there was news announced at that point in time about the rumor came out that the U.S. and China were going to start talking again about their trade tiff, the war that they've got going on. Well, CBT gave a buy signal way down here. It was after stock had moved, the NASDAQ had moved up above it. So you would either have to chase the entry, which is not bad because you could raise your stop, or you could wait for a break above this 84 here, and then still use roughly these targets. And I'm going to call these, it says 52 and 70 to the 2 and 3, but that's from down here. You'd have to subtract out about 20, so still a pretty darn good move. You notice that we did a little bit of a breakout above. We did a breakout above this level. We pulled back and retested it. And what did we do? Continuation move up. That's where you would have made most of your money. You could have done 1 or 2 contracts. Usually at night I only do about 1 but you could have made a few shekels there. For those people who cannot, yeah, these are Eastern time, sorry. Everything I do is Eastern. Sorry. I do it in local times. But the whole idea here is that you can trade at night. So if you're And Gigi had asked that I do that. We'll probably have to see if there's a good time for us to do that. A good day of the week. Right. And I might look at the economic calendar, find out if there's anything that's going to be coming on overnight, some economic news out of Japan or China or something like that. We could be online. There's a lot of times, though, that you come over there and at night you're just sitting there doing nothing. All you're doing is sitting there back and forth. Now, last night, once I found out that the rumors of China happened, I knew that probably the overnight session would have worked. And let's go now to 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock rock. Okay, 2 o'clock. The futures market, the pre-market really opens in Frankfurt. 3 o'clock, you get the futures in London, and you get the regular session in Frankfurt. And we did a little bit of a retracement here, down to 334. This one had a false buy signal here. We did have a breakdown, but it was kind of a slow-y one that didn't have a whole lot of juice in it. You probably had 02 to maybe 98. So 4 times 4 is 16 ticks. Hey, thanks, David. Appreciate it. While I'm off. So these are probably not all that tradable, but let's see what happened the day before. The day before, we didn't start till 6 o'clock. There was a trade here at 9, the Asian session. So you just have to look. They're very, very infrequently. I mean, and then European sessions, they did nothing. Nothing really. So it's hit or miss. I used to get up and sometimes I'd sit in front of the computer for 2 hours and do nothing. Now we got all the way up to that R1. Yeah, R1. When you said you hit the new day high, is it going to break through it or not? I don't know. If it is, it's going to be a grinder. Just look at it. I mean, look at all this stuff that went over to the left. We did get a little bit of we get a little bit more volatility here in the last hour or so, 30 minutes or so. Do you guys have any questions about what you've seen, what you would like? You have any suggestions of things you'd like to see? I'm here to support you guys. I'm really here. I'm trading my live money. You're looking over my shoulder. I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. I tell you what I'm thinking about, and I'm going to answer your questions in these lull periods in between. And if we have any topics that we need to talk about, like I just talked about the overnight sessions. Where can you get the market pivots? Which platform are you on? NinjaTrader has trader pivots. I think they're called pivots. Let me pull this up here. Well, I guess there's Woody's has pivots. That's in the system. I don't know whether I've added it or not. It's called pivots, yeah. and I think it's a standard inside NinjaTrader 8. So can you go to your right click in the middle of your chart, go to indicators, and go down to the word pivots. Do you see it? Or is it something that I added? See, I can't tell. If it's something, and in which version of Ninja do you have? NT8? And it looks like we're trying to back off from that R1. Because if you don't have it and it's an add-on, I can send it to you. Those charts just look ugly. All right. You want to go out? I'll let you go outside in a little bit, okay? Are you still with me there, Steve? All right. Did you see it? The pivots inside NinjaTrader? And do you have NinjaTrader 7 or 8? Okay, no problem. And again, if you don't have it, let me know and I'll get it for you. I'll get it to you. We'll make arrangements to get that to you. But I think it's standard inside NinjaTrader, at least inside NinjaTrader 8. I could only run one at a time. Boy, when I went back to NinjaTrader 7 after being on 8, I ran into a problem there at one point. Oh gosh, I forgot all about how to maneuver around in 7. Okay, folks, it's a little bit after 11. If we're going to get a rally, it's going to happen soon, or it's going to be this afternoon, probably. Again, this is the bane of the existence of a futures trader. Hurry up and wait. Usually waiting around. And then, was it lots of boredom interrupted by brief moments of sheer panic? I try to have fun. It's been a rough week for me. That Monday was just pretty awful. Then I took a winner and turned it into a loser on on Tuesday. That got up my craw. Okay, fantastic. Thanks for stopping by. That NASDAQ looks like it might have some room to run up to here, but man, don't know about that. All this congestion over here to the left. It'll be a grind. Dow's doing a nice pullback off of resistance. S&P showing a buy signal above R1. Now Dow's at R2. I mean, R1 was pre-market. Yeah. R1 got past somewhere with Walmart's numbers. That's one of the reasons why the Dow's, I guess, somewhat tricky when you swing trade it, and it's pretty good on normal days. But you know, the volatility right now, you know, each one of these candles is 20 ticks, and if you had a couple of the candles, we've got one over here. Let's see what we're looking at. 70 at the top. Now let's get one where we can actually see. Well, we could get rid of that. Okay. And 25. 25 and 20. Whoa. 45 tick candle. And that's just one candle. This candle here, over there, was 36. I'll call it 35. And 60. So it's 15 and 10. 25 tick. Whew. Those average true range. These are a lot wider than I ever remembered. All right, take care there, John. Nice trades. Very nice trade. All right, looks like that Russell's attacking the high of the day again. NASDAQ is, it was a lion's roar, yes. Looks like that NASDAQ is going up to 74.22. Could hardly have seen myself doing that, though. right, John, I believe, shorted gold probably here. Leaving 84, 1182. Probably on this move down here around, what, 830 or so? Because he covered at 1132. That was before we got up. All right. Nice trade, though. All right, folks. This is Snoozeville. Looks like the Nasdaq broke out. Looks like the S&P's breaking out. Whoa! I just said Snoozeville, and look what's happening. I try to catch up with the Dow, huh? There's our 11 o'clock rally at 11:15. Well, Steve went to sleep looking at gold. 1538, 1605, 1618. Yep, a really big push. Well, shows you how much I know about that Nasdaq, saying that I couldn't see it breaking out. It sure did. Kind of hard to buy those, but maybe 74.14. I think I remember that number 2 or 3 times. And it's approaching target 3. Wow. All right, that breakout right there, 14.5. Problem is the stop is way down there. 35 to 40 ticks lower. Yeah, 42 on this one right there. So, and it got up to that prior level, swing level that we had marked, probably from yesterday somewhere. It did almost immediate turnaround. The Russell's a monster today. Okay, thanks, John. I appreciate you, since you didn't post a chart. I mean, and I understand. I'm not saying that you should have. I was trying to figure out where it was, and I did figure it was somewhere in before in pre-market. Fantastic. Thank you very much for sharing. And having levels from prior days. Absolutely. All right. We had the move there.
Dogs out! Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
I don't want to bother people too much. I've got tons of those. Oh gosh. I try to have a good time. I mean, life's too short not to, right? There's just no way to enter now. I don't care that this worked or not worked. The Russell, different story. This Russell breakout here, the R squeeze looked okay. Momentum, I don't know. So we had 1 and 1, and it did look like it was going up. So that was probably the second entry that I didn't take that probably could have been taken. Let's go look here at, and I'm going to call it a morning. There's no way I could take this one. Now, over here to the left, it looked like that the R squeeze was good. The momentums are good. But then you got your overhead here. I talked myself out of it. No, I don't think so. I think it's just program training, TJ. We'll find out in a bit, but I don't see any news coming across on my phone. So what I really think it is that the markets got kind of wound up. Their spring was tighter and tighter and tighter. And when we get these markets that don't move before 10:30, somewhere normally between 10:30 and 11, and this time it worked at 11:15. You'll get the unwinding of the spring, and it springs up or down. You just got to be ready for it. And I fooled myself, said, well, it's not going to happen here because it's after 11 o'clock. Yeah, silly boy. I guess the other thing here, looking back on it, is the NASDAQ. You could have gone long on that one with you thinking it's going to be here. And it's going to break through those levels. You'd probably be better off in the Russell. Because the Russell had already proven itself during the day. It had already proven itself early in the day that it wanted to run. So I took one trade. More forward or after. I never knew. European close at 11:30. I know that a lot of times they'll wait till afterwards. I didn't know that it did before, but I'll keep an eye out. And thanks for bringing that up, RJ. Appreciate it. And if anybody sees news that flies across the tickers or whatever, I've got a TV in here that I used to have CNBC on with mute. It's more of a distraction than anything else. I can see what I'm not interested in the news. We're interested in the reaction to the news. You can see that in the chart. So, again, when I talk about having clean charts, yeah. We'll talk about clean charts, you need a clean head too. Don't go after stuff that's superfluous. That doesn't mean the hill of beans. All right. I'm going to call it a morning. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here this morning. I do apologize that, yeah,